Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. Today we are going to use this very fun coffee-inspired collection called Latte Love. And these are all double-sided paper. Does that not just look like brownie swirl to you with caramel? And then we have some unexpected corals in this paper collection. The color palette's a lot of fun. There's little coffee cups on that side. You've got bigger coffee cups. On the opposite, then we have this little plaid, again with the yellows and the corals. The opposite side is coffee bean paper. And then these are a bunch of little hearts, and it's like the hearts that you would see in an espresso. More of that beautiful swirl paper. Here we have coffee splatters. And then on the opposite side is this Glacier. Well, it's not Glacier. I need to figure out the names, but it looks like Glacier. And then this is my favorite. This we've got coffee rings and then the bird's eye view of the coffee cups. Now there are little matching enamel or gems. I don't think they're enamel, but little gems. And then the coordinating stamp set here. There are coordinating dies as well. Now, these do not come on a magnet. I put them on a magnet myself, but they have this nice little envelope for storage. And you have the outline dies that coordinate with the stamps, plus some decorative detail dies to complement them. These also cut out the shapes on the pattern paper, as well as the stamps. So that is super cool. I love that. This one cuts out this cup here. But yeah, isn't that neat? So if you don't want to stamp and color, you can just quickly use that pattern paper for some fun embellishments. I am going to be creating a single page layout today. I have 3 photos. This is from my trip to Italy. We were having coffee at this little outdoor cafe at the Tower of Pisa. So I definitely want to document this experience because it was just beautiful and super early in the morning and hardly anybody was there. So let me clear these out of the way really quick and grab my Versamats. Now stay tuned because at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you some bonus cards featuring this collection. And we're going to take a look at the new catalog. I'm going to show you the things that are on my wish list, as well as a sneak peek at some other cards. I think I want to use these 3 pattern papers here. I have a sheet of white cardstock for my base, and then I want to use this coffee mug paper as a border. And then maybe we've got this coffee ring, but I don't like the circles next to the circles. So maybe this one here with the stripes, it's Lost Lagoon. That's the color of this. And I do love this pattern paper also. You know what we could do is we could cut this into a strip and use that to, kind of just finish off the transition from the coffee paper to this Lost Lagoon pattern paper here. So we'll just cut that down. It ends up being about 1/2 inch by 12 inches. Ooh, I do really like that. That's perfect. For my photos, I'm thinking of putting my main focal photo there, and then I've got these 2 smaller ones. I might use a flip flap. These are 3x4, so I could stack them with a flip flap, or we could do something like that. The little photo on the outside is very similar to my main focal photo, so I don't know if I really need both of those. We'll see how the layout, develops. I'm cutting a 2-inch by 12-inch piece of this paper here to act as my border. And then I'm going to have this, I don't know where I want to cut that yet, so we'll just leave it large for now. They have incorporated some gorgeous coral colors with this collection. So this is peach cardstock from my stash, and I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to mat my main focal photo here. And then anytime I am bringing in smaller embellishments, I like to kind of give them a landing place. So I cut a 3.5-inch circle from Toffee cardstock. Actually, let me go ahead and get this adhered down. I know I want to mat this, so there's no sense in fighting it. We'll just go ahead and get that lined up, and then let me get this tacked down also. I love both sides of these pattern paper, but you do get a couple sheets, so that is very nice. So we can go ahead and get that attached, and then I still don't quite know where I'm going to cut this one, so we'll leave that hole for now. Bring in my circle, and I do think that needs some inking around the edges. So I've got Mocha ink, and then we'll just darken up the edges of our Toffee circle here. And then we're going to create a little embellishment cluster on this circle, and it's going to make those, accents kind of pop nicely off the background. I know I want to use this French press. I think it's just the cutest. And I have this metallics paper collection from Ranger. And I know I've got rose gold in here. My sister actually has a French press that is rose gold, and that's what made me think of it. But it also goes along with the peachy tones in this collection. I'm going to go ahead and die cut this, and then also the centerpiece from Vellum to give the look of glass. You could use like an acrylic, not acrylic, acetate sheet as well, but I kind of like the frosted look of the vellum. So we have our little pieces here. We're going to layer all these together. Isn't that the cutest thing? And then for the inside, I used espresso paper to represent my coffee in my French press. I might end up cutting a second piece of that vellum just so it shows up a little bit more, but I'm confident in my layout design, so I can go ahead and trim down this Lost Lagoon pattern paper here. So I'm going to set these to the side, trim this down. It is now 8.5 inches by 10 inches. We can go ahead and get this one adhered down as well. I did go ahead and ink up the edges with Mocha ink on this piece. You can kind of see that defining the outside edges there. Here on my channel, I did scrapbook the actual pictures of the Tower of Pisa, and if you caught that video, you know we got there very early in the morning because we had planned to do these forced perspective photos, and we didn't want a bunch of people around. So we got there just before like 6 a.m. and had the place to ourselves. It was amazing. So we had plenty of time to come over to this little outdoor cafe and get, an espresso and some chocolate croissants before taking our photos. Oh, there's Brian coming through. Brian likes to venture over and sleep with his head on my Cricut machine, so he usually doesn't stop in my workspace. He keeps motoring on through, which is just fine by me. I'll have to share some pictures of him sleeping on the Cricut because it does not look comfortable, but he seems to think it's comfortable. So, and then of course, if the Cricut is in action, he's really intrigued and wants to pounce on it. So he loves the printer too. He's very feisty. Anything that moves is very intriguing to him. I'm using micro glue dots to attach the layers for my little French press here, and there's plenty of areas where you can hide the adhesive behind the vellum so it doesn't show through, so that's nice. Let's go ahead. I think these little coffee cups might be cute to further our embellishment cluster, so I cut a couple of those from Lagoon, and you can also, there's a die for the center, so I'm going to use, these are pretty tiny. I highly recommend you use like a pickup tool or some tweezers, and we'll just slide that into place there. Put down a little bead of glue, and then this is just a wax pencil, so we can pick that up and then put it right into place. And these are really cute. They have a lot of detail in them. I'll hold them up here in just a minute so you can see that extra detail. So it kind of die cuts, that's probably not in focus. Can you see like the little below the rim and on the bottom, it puts an extra little die cut line just to make them look more realistic. I think it's super cute. So we'll kind of nestle these right here. I am going to grab that coffee stain ring and do a little background stamping on my circle here behind my cups. So let me just peel this off gently. Anytime you have a brand new photopolymer stamp, you want to rub that on your skin or rub it with an eraser to take off the oils so it'll take up the ink better. And then of course, practice first on a piece of scratch paper. I think I'm going to have this coming out from behind my French press and my little cups there. If you have not caught my Pisa layout, I will leave that listed in the description box below, along with all of the supplies I used to create today's layout. And if you're enjoying this video, I would love it if you'd hit that thumbs up button. It does help me out quite a bit here on YouTube. So thank you so much for doing that. I feel like we need a tag, so I'm using my favorite tag die and cutting out this coffee splatter paper. We're going to tuck this in right here, and then we need a title. I am going to use my outline alphabet dies. If you were lucky enough to grab these dies, I'm telling you, this was the most coveted item in March and April from close to my heart. It was just crazy popular. So I'm spelling out the word cafe, and these are fun because they cut both an outline and the inner portion. So I am thinking of maybe this coffee splatter paper for the inside, and I also cut a second pass with that same rose gold paper from Ranger. So we've got two different choices. We can do this is the rose gold paper. So we can do this one here, and then the coffee splatter outline. Or we can do the opposite and have the coffee splatter with the rose gold on the outside. I think I like that better, so we will go with that option. You could do lots of things here. You could cut a title on your Cricut, or you could get an alphabet stamp and stamp your title. But I think this is a good spot for it. So we're going to squeeze this right in here. And I know the rose gold paper isn't really showing up on camera right now, but when I hold it up into the light, you'll be able to appreciate how that looks. This Latte Love collection is actually an online-only special that came out on March 6th. I actually bought this before I even knew I was going to sign up with Stampin' Up because I love coffee and it definitely spoke to me. Now I went through my coffee themed stamps in my stash and I found this one here. Perhaps you have this one too. It's called Coffee Helps. I knew I had some already stamped in here from a previous project. So I've got a couple circles with these little quotes on it. Today's good mood is brought to you by coffee, but it's in kind of this pinky mauve color, which does not match. So I grabbed my coral marker and we're just going to go over this and see if it'll change the color enough to coordinate with my project. And if not, I can always stamp another one and save this for another project. But it's looking like this is going to work. Again, this is the coral tri-blend marker. And yeah, I think that's going to work. Perfect. It's always fun to kind of highlight a word in your stamp like this, and we're going to layer that right over our tag there. Now we have this coffee bean pattern paper, and there is a stamp with dies, but you can also use the dies to cut out these coffee beans. So there's a little cluster and then some individual beans. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these out to scatter around our layout. I'll run those through my die cutting machine, and then I want to layer just a few around our sentiment here. I have to laugh. When we were in Italy, it took us a little bit to figure out how to order our coffee because it's not the same. If you order a latte, you're just going to get a cup of hot milk. And so we were ordering, we ordered that and we're like, gosh, there's no coffee in it. What's the deal? So then we'd order a couple shots of espresso on the side and then put them in. And someone finally saw what we were doing and helped us and told us silly, Americans how to order coffee in Italy. So we laugh about it, but we were there for 3 weeks. So it didn't take us long to figure it out. I have printed my journaling out on cardstock and I'm just cutting that into strips here. So I have a video showing how I do this. I just use a text box in a Word document or in Pages if you have a Mac, and size the text box to the area you have for your journaling to fit. And then I space them at 1.5 and then they cut into nice little narrow strips like this. So I'm just trimming up the left and right edges so there isn't some excess space on there. And then I do like to stagger my journaling to kind of fill the space here. My journaling just talks about how we got there super early and it paid off because we beat the crowds and had time for a delicious cup of coffee. These are the paperboard shapes from Let's Go Anywhere, and I want to create just a little embellishment cluster up top. So we're going to use that. It's like the Kraft color. And then I have these from Echo Park in my stash. It's coffee themed chipboard stickers. I've had these for years. So I'm just adding this little tiny sentiment here. It does say keep calm and coffee on. I thought we needed to bring a little bit of that coral tone to the opposite side, so I used this plaid paper and cut a second tag to carry that color over. I added a couple little bits of twine, and then I did cut some more of the coffee beans from the pattern paper to scatter around the layout. So I thought about using those little dots, but then I decided the coffee beans would be nice, and I have lots of them, right? Because we have a whole sheet of pattern paper plus the stamp set. So I'm just going to add a few up to this cluster and then a couple around the title. And I also want to add some splatter stamps. So there's this little splatter stamp here, and I have my espresso ink. We are going to add them just kind of above the French press here in this location. So I'm just kind of turning my stamp to fit those right in that crevice. And then we will ink it up and do one on the lower circle down by the latte or the cup of coffee in the picture. Right about there. These little stamp details just finish everything off nicely, don't you think? Let me hold this up so you can appreciate that rose gold foil paper on the French press. And then if I catch it in the light just right, I think you can see the outline on the title. And I added a few coffee beans there as well. Here's a look at the cards I created. I actually did these in a live over my customer appreciation group, Facebook group. This card was inspired by Kim McGillis. I saw her pin on Pinterest and I love this card. It's very simple, but there's a lot of stamping. So this is that coffee stain ring, and I did first and second generation stamping to create that border. And then we have a couple coffee splatters. This is a stamped and die cut mug. And then I just used the thanks so much sentiment. And then of course you can see how we use that pattern paper as a border strip, just like we did on our scrapbook layout here. So very cute. But yes, this was inspired by Kim. And then I have this one here. I used that pattern paper in the background, and this is 4 by 5.25. This one is about 2 inches by 5 inches, and I put a little dovetail in there, and then stamped, same as here, stamped the little cup on Glacier cardstock with espresso ink, and then used Toffee ink in the center for my coffee there. This would be fun to put liquid glass on too and make it shiny. I thought the doily went along really nicely with the coffee cups, so that is a close to my heart die from my stash, and then just the sentiment in a little circle there with a couple of the little enamel dots. And then this one is one of my go-to card patterns. I love this, especially when you really want to show off that pattern paper. This is not a stamped image. This is the pattern paper that I cut with a coordinating die, and you can see I generally will add a little visual triangle with my enamel dots in a cluster of 3. You can see that repeated here. That's just kind of my go-to. But yeah, on the inside, I added some white cardstock and then took those coffee stain circles and then the little coffee splatter for a fun little, interest on the inside of the card. Okay, I do want to show you my must-haves from the annual catalog that just launched today. And if you are a Close to My Heart VIP, when you place an order in the month of May only, they are going to add in one of these catalogs to your order. So that is very exciting. It's a one-time deal. Again, it's only for VIPs. So that'll be just automatically added to your orders when you purchase. And make sure you're using the same email that you used with your VIP Close to My Heart account. So this is a big catalog and it is packed full, and there's a lot of things on my wish list, but I just wanted to show you my must-haves. So this one here is the Mediterranean blooms, and as most of you know, if you've been following my channel for a while, wow, that is a sticky post-it note. I've been working on my Italy album. This is perfect. The lemons, and then on the opposite side is this like Italian looking tile, and we're on the ocean and the Amalfi Coast. This is perfect. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to get this to use for my Amalfi Coast pictures. So that's the Mediterranean blooms. There's the paper pack, the coordinating gems, and then they have some dies and of course a stamp set there. And then let's see, the next one that I'm really excited about are these circle dies. So I don't know if you can really see that, but I actually wanted to get this when I signed up, but it wasn't an option for my bundle. All of these circles have decorative edges and they're graduated sizes. So you can see how beautiful that detailing is around the edge. I love using circles to, provide a spot to cluster my embellishments. So with the decorative edges and these sizes, I thought that this would be awesome to have in my stash, something that I'm going to use over and over and over again. So those are a must-have for me. And then I already got these. So I did get these in my sign up kit. When I signed up with Stampin' Up, I got these, and I'll be sharing inspiration soon. If you're in the Creative Design Team membership group, then just today the first May class launched, and I created several projects with this stamp set. So I just think it's gorgeous. And then let's see here. The other product I have marked is the Forever Forest stamp set. I do a lot of outdoor layouts, and I think this is going to be really nice for my Alaska album, and then just all the camping that we do.
and we spend a lot of time in the mountains. But there's a stamp set, coordinating dies, and standalone tree dies, and the little mountain range. So, and then this is like a background and texture stamp, like you could use that for snow or just splatter, so many different things. So that is something I know I will definitely get my money's worth out of. I have this little punch marked because I love tucking little sprigs in on my cards, and I thought that would be so nice to have a punch, and you can just punch scraps. It's much faster than using a die for something that you use a lot of, so I do like this little punch here. But yeah, there are so many different things, and there are items in here, other paper packs that I already got, so I'll be sharing those when I create projects here on my channel. But yeah, these are definitely things that I know I will get a lot of use out of, and I'm very excited about these. So I can show you a few cards actually with these. So I can't show you the projects that I created for the membership class, but I also have these. Whenever I get a new stamp set, I love to just kind of start playing around with it. And oftentimes these will help me develop ideas for scrapbook layouts. So this is a card with the Seaside Wishes. The sand dollar is Seaside Wishes. And there's also, here, let me just look up my stamp. Beauty of the Deep. It's the coral here. So I got both of these and some wood grain pattern paper with my sign up kit because I just love ocean stamps. But isn't that beautiful? So I just kind of created, this is the embossing folder. So there's a stamp and dies and coordinating embossing folder. So that's what I used to create this card here. And then also this one, you can see in the background we have the embossing folder, and I just did a little ink blending over to make those stand out a bit more. And the embossing folder has like sand kind of texture around the outside perimeter. So I've mixed dies, stamps, and the embossing folder all on this card here. This one, these are from the embossing folder. Don't those look real? All I did was emboss vanilla cardstock and take some Toffee ink to add some distressing to those. And then this is one of the detail dies. I've just used a glue dot in the center because I quite like it when they lift up a bit. And then I just did some ink smushing and some paper, like roughed up the edges there. This is Kraft paper, and I don't know if you can see the little splatter in the background, and some stamping with there's like a little pebble stamp here. So, and then added a few little journey sequins to that one. And then this card I created with the embossing folder. So again, we've got that gorgeous detail in the background, and then I embossed the sand dollars and then tucked in some of the little seaweed that comes with the dies, the little seaweed, and then I stamped and die cut the little sea star there. So I was just having a ton of fun with these stamps. So stay tuned. I'm going to have some layouts very soon to share with you featuring those stamp sets. And the Stampin' Up is working on, I see tons of scrapbooking potential in here already, but they are hoping to, or planning to get the actual scrapbooking kits out in the fall, the September through December catalog. So fingers crossed for that, but I'm super inspired, and I will be sharing some fun ideas featuring the Mediterranean blooms paper here in the front. And then I also got the Take to the Sky paper, which is great for travel and masculine projects. So I'll be sharing layouts featuring that as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's project, and if you're looking for more scrapbooking inspiration, then definitely check out these videos right here. And if you're not already a subscriber, then hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what's coming up next. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time on YouTube. Bye.